Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. Today we're talking about Nock, a new VR sport game on the Oculus Quest 2, made by developers Normal, also published by Normal. And when I say it just came out, it came
Good
out,
name.
yeah, right, Normal, I love it. Also just came out March 10th, 2022. It's $9.99 on the official Quest store with a 4.6 overall and 1,225 total ratings and 828 written reviews. So, for just coming out a month ago, it's getting a good amount of attention. But before we get too carried away and we start to go into our full thoughts and opinion, if you enjoy this episode, be sure to subscribe, rate us 5 stars on whatever podcast platform you listen on, whether that's Apple, Spotify, Overcast, Podcast Addict, whatever it is. Subscribing is the easiest way to get our newest content immediately. And, 5-star rating helps a lot. So definitely drop those. And so let's keep getting into this. It's, like I said, they say on their store description that they're the first VR sport game. I don't know if that's 100% true, but it definitely is a VR sport game.
Yeah, and I definitely can see some league play, but no, I mean, we debated pretty hardcore about the being the first sports, and it even came down to looking at whatever the first word in title description of what its genre is, and we did find, a handful of other games that do have sports in there for like VR bowling.
Mm-hmm. I think Totally Baseball had it. There's a couple others.
It's hard to argue, and then you got, there's a football one that it's clearly sports. It's nothing but sports.
Yeah, so it's very debatable, but whatever. It's a little marketing thing. It's definitely a sport game though, and it goes a little bit into the, you use the comparison of Rocket League, where it's kind of soccer-ish, where the concept is get the ball into the goal. But in this, you skate around, and you have a bow and arrow. So you have to shoot the bow and hit the ball into the net with that. And, of course, you can actually physically hit the ball yourself with your body. But be careful because you can get, knocked out in this game.
Yeah, if that ball's red, the gigantic ball.
Yeah, and somebody shoots it, you're going poof for 5 seconds.
Yeah, you can get knocked out. You can also use it to your advantage and knock out other players as well. I actually because it's a unique experience and it's definitely its own unique game, but I was trying to think of how could it, one sentence describe it? And I'm like, okay, it's like soccer meets air hockey meets archery with a dash of Circus Olay. and then I think you pretty much have Nock in a nutshell.
Yeah, they describe it as, so on their store page, they say compete in an aerial archery soccer match. And the reason why they say aerial archery is besides skating around, which is a very unique control method. Like you literally skate, you pull the trigger with your left controller and you pull into the direction you want to go. It takes probably 2 minutes to get used to. And then from there, it feels really natural. But then with your right controller, if you pull the trigger and you move your hand, you go shooting up into the air. And you'll even see, so the characters are like these jelly blobs. That's the only way I can describe them.
There's some out of shape looking, jelly beanie looking guys.
Yep, you're either blue or yellow, and you have the limbs, so you have arms and legs. And when you shoot them up into the air, you'll see the character their little feet running. Oh my god, it's hilarious. So the game kind of has that silly VR feel to it as well.
Yeah, especially, when you're at your main menu screen and you look at your character's body and you get a mirror image of it that responds in real time, to your movement. So your arms are probably the funniest thing because they're kind of like rubber bandy.
Yeah, I know a lot of people haven't played it, but it reminds me of the Rodent People Origins arms. They're very just jello-y. I can't describe it any other way.
You can just move your arm. If you flap your arms like a bird, you'll see what I'm talking about, because where your elbow would be will move up and down.
Yeah,
so it creates an arm wave.
No joints. You have an arm, but there's no bones in there. It's all just...
And at first when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is going to suck. But the second you play the game, you realize I don't care if they gave you the most detailed avatar, it wouldn't matter, because you're never going to look at an avatar in the game and be like, oh, I'm going to focus on that. It's high pace.
Yeah, way too intense.
High energy. Me personally, I sweat balls when I play this game.
Yeah, last night when we were playing, you took off your shirt.
I was in my shorts, and I was still sweating.
After every couple games, you'd be like, give me a second. I got to wipe down.
Gotta wipe down the face mask, dude. Because really, like you said, your movement in this game is almost think of it like planting a stick, and they give you that option too. I think it's ski pole movement. So if you're used to like cross country skiing, it's that same kind of movement you would do.
But I actually like the default movement more.
Hell yeah. It gives you more liberty. You have more wiggle room to take angles and shit.
But that's definitely going to be a preference thing. There's going to be some people who love this game who listen to it and they're like, oh man, ski mode is my jam, which that's...
Maybe they, good for them. I mean, we tried it. I just didn't. I knew after the first couple of rounds playing with the ski pole mode, I was like, nah, I don't like it. I just don't like
back to the default.
I'm going back to the default. But you're like you mentioned, you skate, or I use the reference of like air hockey, because you do kind of skate, you glide to the point where my body, when I play the game, I'll like kind of do lunges. Like I swear to God, I'm like lunging to the right, and I use my left hand and quickly just start moving it forward to.
Yeah, you can whip with your guy if you move your hand fast and rapid enough.
Speed is key, and then your aerial movements, like you said, move your right hand down, and it'll launch your guy like to the ceiling high. Doesn't take much effort to do that either. Your guy takes the fuck off, and then you can shoot. I'm not really that great to do the aerial stuff yet. I'm more on the ground. I think I have a good offensive game, especially at the start of a match, but it's like you play some of these real human beings, because we play a lot of bots. Every time we play people, we just get
mollywomped,
murked, and I mean that'll probably bring me right into, I guess, if there was an issue or a complaint that a new player would have getting this game, is going to be some sort of matchmaking mode for a new player, because you will, man, every time we've played real people, because our go-to seems to be, let's play some bots to warm up, and then we'll play some humans, and it's like we've yet to find humans worse than us.
Well, so I don't know if there's no skill-based matchmaking, or it's just that everybody online is a beast. I don't think that there's skill-based, though. I don't think there is.
Definitely not. And then the other issue being, as it's so relatively new, it doesn't have the most abundance of people in the servers. We've seen that a lot when you go to, it'll tell you clearly how many people are.
On a high, I think we've seen, $160, $170.
Yeah, like 163 or 170.
So that's my thing. It's like, are all those people, are any of them new? Are like we the only new guys? And it's all
feels
guys
that way sometimes.
Who've had it for a month. Because here's the thing with this game. The first day we played it, we sucked.
Sucked is an understatement.
It is probably the number one game that I've seen day-to-day improvement. It's like, we'll play, I'll go to bed, we wake up, we play again the next night.
A little better.
Like, noticeably.
And the saving grace for the new player, and this is what we like to do, is we'll do a 2-on-2, and we'll both be on the same side, and it'll let you add bots to the other side. You can add up to 3 bots. So you could actually give yourself a handicap if you want. Which, and then they give you a pretty wide variety of skill levels.
Which, to access the skill level, because it took us a minute to find this, you can't change the skill level in the menu to set up the room.
Nope.
You change the skill level of the bots in the game, during in the pause menu. Yeah.
While the game's being played, you can go from the easiest mode to the hardest mode, which is called on fire.
Yep.
And you will notice a huge difference every time you click the modes up.
Yeah, so what we usually do is, for the first game, to our first warm-up of the night, we'll start on the easiest difficulty, and every time we score, we move it up 1.
Yep. And then we pretty much handle expert mode. Yeah,
that's the expert is the second to highest. After expert, it goes on fire.
We win on that one.
Yeah,
like 3-0 win.
And we have really competitive with on fire. Like I'm talking going to overtime for minutes, because the games aren't particularly long, which helps with this game. It's easy to just bang out a bunch in an hour, but that's also probably why you're pouring sweat.
Mm-hmm.
But you go into the time runs out and it's score tied. The game's not over. No. It goes into overtime just until the next person scores, but they'll show you on the timer on the bottom, how long it's been. And, there's been some overtime we went in with On Fire for like 3 or 4 minutes overtime, which is a long time for this game.
And the thing with we'll say with the more advanced human players as well as the bots, is their hit percent ratio, which they'll give you a breakdown when the game's over. Like, this is how many times you scored. This is how many arrows you fired. This is what percentage of those arrows hit. And it's like, we'll hit the 50s to 60%, but the bots, they're coasting in the low 70s.
Well,
like nothing.
More than that, it's the amount of shots they take. So if you
they'll
play
shoot 100, no problem.
Yeah, if you play on fire, so like we can handle them very good on ground floor, but where we need to improve, where I see the AI do amazing on fire, is like when it's in the air, they will hit it probably 30 times.
No,
they'll take it across the whole field all the way to the other side.
And when you start it, I'm not going to knock them for their tutorial because their tutorial's pretty damn good, but
they don't tell you everything.
No, so I'm just going to, if you're listening to this and then you buy it, I'm going to say do the tutorial. You have to. There's no way around it. And then know that when you start a game, I would not recommend playing humans.
Because that's what we did.
Bot game, so go to custom game and then boom, add your bot, you're good.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we did the tutorial, which they teach you how to move, they teach you how to shoot, they teach you how to score, but they don't teach you about that you have 3 arrows and you pick up ammo by picking up these green spheres everywhere.
When the first time you load into I had lost my train of thought for a second, but when you load into the actual arena the first time, you're going to see for the first time these little green balls, and then you're going to see what looks like 3 like Nerf missiles
in a kind of satchel type deal.
Yeah, and then you're going to see green balls kind of on the ceiling and in the middle.
You're going to say, they didn't teach me this in the tutorial. You look at your bow and there's 3 arrow slots, and you're like, what?
Yeah, so instantly, and this was shame on us.
We went straight from tutorial to a 2-on-2 round.
Yeah, let's go right to the game. We did the tutorial. We should have it figured out. And then the second the game started and we saw those green dots and shit.
Yeah, we went, what is that? And
what the hell do I do?
And then this is what happened. The other player pulled their arrow back, let go, one shot, hit the ball, and just went straight into the net. We didn't even move.
The ball drops from like the middle of the arena.
Yeah, in the ceiling.
The ceiling, and then it drops down. And the second it's exposed, you can take a shot at it.
Yeah.
The game's on. There's like a shield that protects it. So if you try to run up to the ball before the game starts, officially, your guy will automatically fly in the air because he stays on the outside of this bubble that protects the ball until the official. So you can bum rush it, but you got to time it perfect. But these advanced players, dude, it's not even funny.
You know what the starting serve reminds me of? Like basketball, where they start it in the middle.
Throw it in the air.
It's like that, but you're farther behind. And shame on us for not mentioning this before. The game has, for multiplayer, you can do 1v1, you can do 2v2, or you can do 3v3.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, like you said, for the bots, you can handicap yourself and everything, but you can play 1 versus 1 if you don't have like other people to play with or anything like that. Or in a case where we like to do duos in games, we like to do teams of 2. There's a 2v2 option. We've been playing with a friend of ours as well.
Yeah, we've gotten to do the 3 on 3.
It's fun. It's fun, but the user interface for finding a match with real players, that could probably use some work because it's a little confusing. There's obviously some things going on the back end that I just don't understand. But the way they display that to you is not the most transparent.
Mm-mm. So
what I mean is, like, when you select a match that you want to do, when you're going to find it against real other people, you select 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, whatever, and then you start to go try to find a game. There's these words at the top. It'll say 160 people online, 100 people in game, 40 people in lobby, 20 people looking for a match, whatever. And you'll be sitting there and you're like, I got 3 people in my team. There's 20 people looking for a match.
Yeah, how come I'm not finding
There's 3. Yeah, I only like it. And I don't know if it's 20 people in total looking for all the 3 different match types or whatever. It's clearly there's a reason that you're not finding a match, but user interface wise, this isn't really presented to you in the best way. So you can sit there for quite a bit and be like, I feel like I should have a match, and it's not really transparent to you why you're not getting a match.
No, I guess some of the saving grace is there's a lot of movement from the developers end on some updates coming out for it.
Oh, yeah, they're very
so
vocal.
they've already fixed one issue that was recognized after launch. So if you did buy it at launch and you're one of the handful of people who are like, hey, it's not working properly, they did address that.
They have a whole roadmap online of updates coming.
Yeah, you can. I mean, if you pay some lip service to their website, you'll see that they got some shit in the works. So it's not like they're like, okay, you know, if you've had problems, suck it up. You know, no. They actually have an interesting approach too.
If you read their reviews on the store, yeah. Something we always do before we, you know, review a game. So let's see some complaints that other people have that maybe we didn't experience or whatever. It's fun to get some different perspectives.
Yeah.
So we'll go on the store and flip through 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, 2 stars, 1 star. And yeah, you were telling you saw some funny responses in the 1 star, right?
Yeah, I would just encourage people go check out the developer responses. They're worthwhile. I won't blow their spot on it, but it was a unique approach that they took to someone's complaint who gave them a 1 star when it really wasn't deserving of the 1 star. But their response was, I thought, spot on.
So yeah, the you know, I'm sure that'll change. I'm sure, you know, in 6 months you'll click to find a game and it'll say there's only 2 people, you know, whatever that, you know. It'll be more
user the finding a match for what is really it's a sports multiplayer game. You know, yeah, it's a has to be fixed.
It can be, yeah. It's just like, why am I not getting a match? But what is cool, and I like every game that lets you have this option. It deserves a thumbs up. When you go to find a match, while you wait to find a match, you can practice against bots.
Yeah,
that's
which you know, depending on how hard you're gonna play the game, you might not want to do.
Yeah, burn out all of your energy right before.
And your left hand and arm and shoulder are definitely going to be getting a workout
which I like because I'm right-handed and everything you do in life you do with your dominant hand. Most people, you know, so it's you usually have some sort of strength imbalance leaning towards your dominant side.
Kind of an ingenious way to get you to work out your non-dominant side.
Hell yeah, because then this game, it's man, my right arm doesn't get tired. I'm not shooting myself up in the air that much, but my left arm,
dude, I don't.
My left arm gets tired.
There's a reason why I'm pouring sweat. I take it so damn serious. Like the competition aspect of it. Like when that ball drops, I start making my move to the center to try to time it. And then I just want to hit my arrow to that ball first. Yep. That's all I care about.
Well, and I know that there's going to be people that hear this and go, these guys suck. They can't hang with other players. They're just facing the bots and whatever. But, you know, our attitude is like, look, we've gotten beaten so bad against the players. We'll still try.
Yeah, it's not like we don't play people. It's just when we can yet to play people that are worse than us.
When we can easily beat on fire bots at a handicap of 3 versus 2, then I'll feel pretty confident. But it's like every time we go into real players, we get beat. So there's definitely going to be some people that hear that and go, wow, these guys suck. But I also
think equally there'll be people who go, you know what, amen. I totally fucking agree that you go in there and play humans, you're going to get destroyed.
Yeah, like right off the top. I mean,
and that's for, you know, I guess shame on everyone else for not getting a game. I read someone else's complaint who was like, it's all 10-year-olds, which it's not, because we've played a multitude of humans and they weren't.
I am not 10 years old, and I play the multiplayer in this. So
I will say though, if we played, you know, and this is just full disclosure, if we played 10 humans, two of those groups were toxic.
Yeah, easy.
You know, one of them to the point where if you wanted to be that guy, you could have recorded them and they would have lost their account, no doubt. Which
understandably every game has, you know, you can't control who does and doesn't buy your game, so you're always going to have a touch of that. But I did unfortunately feel like there was a little higher ratio of it than we've seen in other multiplayer games.
Again, the percentage of humans played to
just toxic douchebaggery.
Yeah, just some douchebaggery. But now here's where it's weird.
The one that we got, I'm sorry to cut you off. I was going to say the one that we got spanked the first round.
Yeah,
that was just funny. Those guys weren't toxic.
No,
that was hilarious. Like, because we were so underprepared for it.
Talking about the blatant.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know what you're referring to.
Yeah,
but the one that we got spanked that first game, dude, I think it was at one point 10-0, and they were like, it's not us versus them, it's me versus you, like talking about them trying to who's gonna outscore more.
Yeah,
we could hear them because we had party chat on. We could hear them being like, I don't think these guys have played before, and shame on us because we did not do bot matches before that one. But unfortunately, it seems like after all we've played, man, we don't do that much better against the players.
No, there's well, and I think that's part of the problem with who's playing and when they're playing, and how good they are.
No
It's
matchmaking.
I don't sign into the server and see 1,000 people in the server again. So if you got 170 people, and only a few of those are looking for matches, which I don't understand. Like, what the hell's the rest doing?
Yeah, dicking around in the lobby, which, to be fair, we have spent a lot of time in the lobby wiggling our arms around. Like you said, you see your character kind of third-person mirrored, which is not too common for VR, but I love it. I love to see how my own guy reacts, and that's only in the lobby. So, yeah, I wonder the same thing. It's like, how are so many people just sitting there for that long, and we're unable to find a match sometimes for 5-10 minutes, you know?
That I don't know. But I'm hoping that, I'll give it a chance because, again, you're looking at a $9.99 price tag. So,
which I think is perfect for this game.
We'll get to the value for the money and the final ratings and stuff, but it's like, right up front, I did not want to get this game.
Yeah, full disclosure, you were very skeptical on it.
I did not. I just didn't want.
You were like, I don't like Rocket League. I don't like these type of games.
Nah, looked. I don't know. I watched their presentation of it and was like, okay. Hey. So it's soccer with, fucking bow and arrow. Big deal. And then when it came out and all the hype around it and all that, I'm like, what am I missing? I mean, I don't get it. So
we bit the bullet and we got it.
Arm twist, $9.99 later. And I'm like, oh, I was kind of an idiot. But if you kind of on the fence, like you're like, nah, it just doesn't look like it'll be any fun. It's wicked freaking fun.
Yeah, hats off to them with the bots. This is probably the number one game.
Thank God for the bots.
Yeah.
If it didn't have bots, I probably would have played it twice and then just went, fuck this.
I mean, like, because there's other games with training bots, like Pop 1. You know, they have training bots with difficulty, and you can get a little bit better with them, but it doesn't really get you good at this game. Where in this game, the bots, with the amount of difficulties they have that are noticeably different, you can get really good against bots. So that's
hell yeah.
When players are already so good, I think that's imperative. If they only had one difficulty bot, you'd be screwed.
And besides the ability to skate across the arena and fly to the ceiling and shoot arrows and collect green dots to keep your arrows going, every time you do hit the ball, you get another arrow. So your hit percentage is important for your ability to not have to go like, oh, I need more arrows. Hold on,
because you can only hold three.
Down.
You can only hold three,
but you can also shoot an arrow and put up a block, which sounds crazy, but it is. So if you're really, really accurate and you see them trying to score on your goal or they're going to hit the ball, you can pull back your arrow, and as the arrow's flying through the air, you decide at what point you want to put up and it's literally a block. Badook. And whatever your trajectory of your arrow is will dictate how the block is positioned. So if it's straight, the block will be perfectly four square. Well, actually, it's more than four square because it's 3D environment.
Yeah, I know what you meant, though.
Yeah, but if it's coming down at that arch angle, now you're going to have an angled block. And I've seen people be able to throw blocks, and they use them pretty damn good to their advantage.
Yeah, because think of it. If there's a runaway ball headed towards your goal, because it's like
that's something that's not clearly outlined when you start playing the game. I discovered the blocks because we were playing humans, and all of a sudden these freaking blocks are just appearing and they're interfering with our ball, and I'm like, where are these coming from? I thought it was actually part of the game. Like,
they
this
just
must be
randomly
some
appear.
timed thing.
No, they don't teach you that at all in the tutorial.
No, I had to go online and
look up how to do it.
I'm like, how do you put up blocks?
Because, like, dude, like I said, if there's a runaway ball, because example, both of you you're doing 2v2 and both of you are heavy on the offense trying to score, and then they steal the ball back, they get that perfect shot, and it's running down the court faster than you can skate and stop it.
Oh god, yeah.
The only way that you can possibly block that is to build a block. So it's a very good skill to have. You've gotten good at two things that I've been very impressed with you the last couple of days. You've gotten way better at building blocks, and you've gotten way better at that initial serve volley. Like, you're beating the AI all the time on it.
Yeah, the minute that ball starts dropping, it's like my only objective is to hit that ball. Because if you can get the ball down to their end, and it's a curled arena, like curved, just like a hockey rink. So you can take advantage of the walls, and
it's very white and bright, and it's very simple. It's not like heavily graphically set up. There's not like scoreboards everywhere and screens.
I do wish the arena environment was aesthetically more appealing.
Yeah, it looks like the arena looks almost like a beta testing arena.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, this is what the arena is going to be size wise, and then later we're going to fill it in with colors and stuff like that.
Add shit.
It doesn't feel complete in that regard. I agree.
Maybe audience or something. Again, it's $9.99, and for the amount of stuff that they're claiming they're going to add to this, that'll be a moot point anyways, because I think one of the things they're going to add is
environments and stuff like that.
But environments and different modes.
Unfortunately, when we do reviews, we can't say, well, they say in a year they're going to add. We got to talk about what's in the game.
Arrows, which kind of frightened me when I read that, because it's like it's hard enough with straight arrows. It's like now you're going to allow people to have curving arrows.
Yeah, you go on the roadmap, and that's on the coming soon curved arrows.
Here.
I'm curious how that'll work. If I think you were saying it, shoot, and then maybe you'll control it with the thumbstick or whatever. Which, by the way, we didn't mention this. Guardian warning on this game. Set your Guardian. I don't know if it's me. I mean, you can turn with your thumbstick. You can set if you want to do snap turn or smooth turn. I think I do it like 2% of the time. I am spinning in circles around my room.
Oh, dude,
I'm going wall to wall. I'm going I don't think that there's been a single game I've played that shoots me from one side of my room to the. I'm constantly like stopping playing for a second to peek down my nose hole to see where I am in my room, because dude, I move a lot when I'm playing this game. So Guardian warning, I'm constantly seeing my blue warning environment around.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, I do. The closest thing it relates to me is actually playing ice hockey. Like if you've ever skated and played hockey, the thing that gets me the most with that is when the ball's going over my head and I have to go into defense. A lot of times I never turn my guy around. Mm-hmm. I just skate backwards and I turn my head around. No different than you would. So it's really weird. I use pretty much the same movements that you would if you were playing on the ice. But I will lunge my body forward. Like literally if I'm going, okay, I'm going to skate to the corner. Because they give you a sound effect that you're actually like very mild skate effect.
Yeah, kind of running through the wind almost. When that.
Like you're gliding across, but it's not ice hockey. That's why I think the air hockey more is the flow, but I love skating backwards. And
yeah, the physics of the game are great.
Looking behind me, looking at the ball.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I stare up in the sky so much when I play this game, especially against the AI on fire, because they're constantly doing that
popped my ceiling fan every single time I've played this.
Yeah, dude, Guardian warning. But yeah, the physics in it are great. Like you hit the ball at the wall and it'll like ride up the wall into the air. It bounces around. It interacts with the environment well. The arrows ricochet really good. So the physics in the game are tight too. Mm-hmm. And underrated thing, because I've had this beef in other multiplayer games we play with soundtracks and music, that it's not shared. Like,
no.
The music that you listen to on your end isn't the same as the other person.
I shut it off. I don't want to hear music.
But yeah, there's a little jukebox radio thing in the main menu, and if one person shuts it off, it shuts off for both people. If it, same thing. If you turn it on, it turns on for both people. The same song playing through both ends, so that's always pretty cool.
It is. I just don't like the.
I'm not big on the soundtrack, but I like when there's shared music. And to continue on this game, kind of having a nice like little cute atmosphere and vibe. The way the custom rooms for this game works is. So you have a default code, but to set up a room, you shoot the plus sign right next to your room, and you type in whatever, and then whoever else you want to play with, they would type in that same code. So we always set ours to Ruff, RUFF. So when you'll have this little wand you click the keyboard with, and whenever you click a key, you'll hear like RUFF. Super high pitch,
little mouse voice.
Oh my god, it's hilarious. So I love it. They play up the cute atmosphere really good in this game.
Yeah, they brought the Goofy to VR, and I knew when first time I saw the Avatar, I was like, oh geez, you're gonna love this shit.
Mm-hmm. You
even said it. You're like, this is what VR is made for.
I love silly shit in
Not
VR.
Not taking it too serious.
I don't know why. I love silly shit in VR. It's the perfect medium for it.
Yeah, no, I would say this is this one right now is a sleeper.
Yeah,
it's like
for $9.99. That's the thing. If this thing had a $19.99 price tag, or $15.99, or $14.99, it's definitely still worth it. But for $9.99, fuck,
Yeah, I mean, I would put it. I mean, if you like sports games and you want to be active and you want to, do something more than the norm that's out there, this is kind of definitely giving it for it. So,
Yeah. So you want to get into our final thoughts and our review?
yeah.
Okay. So before we do that, I just want to take the moment and get in a little message from our sponsors. The people who help keep this thing afloat besides yourself. So. We save balls. That is the campaign that Manscaped is doing right now to raise awareness in the month of April for testicular cancer. They've even partnered with the Testicular Cancer Society to help raise awareness for testicular cancer.
It's a serious one to raise awareness for, and I think it's overlooked. You want to rattle off that age demographic.
Yeah, not many people know this. They're thinking, I'm young, I'm healthy, my balls smell good. But did you know that testicular cancer is the #1 form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35?
That's alarming.
That's alarming. I know a lot of people who think, oh, I'm young, I'm healthy. No, it might not be the case. Take a peek down there. When you're using your Manscaped products, part of your morning shower routine, take a peek. Make sure everything's healthy.
I couldn't agree more.
And not just in April either. I know this is Testicular Cancer Awareness Month, but do it every month, every time you're showering.
Every time you're in that shower, you should give those boys a feel.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure everything's feeling like it should.
If you're hearing this ad and you're wondering, well, you know what? I don't know the last time I really took a good peek at my balls. It's time.
It's time. You're overdue.
And use code word Ruff Talk VR at checkout of manscaped.com to save 20% off and free shipping. So not only are you taking care of your balls visually, making sure they're healthy, cancer-free, take good care of them, with some good products too. So now that that's out of the way, I also want to take the opportunity to say, if you like the podcast, like I said at the beginning, you can subscribe, rate us 5 stars as well. We have an official subreddit and a Discord, which you can find in the show notes or the episode description of this episode. Or you can just go over to reddit.com/r/RuffTalkVR. Join an ever-growing community of, podcast fans. We just broke the 200 mark on our subreddit, so we're growing day by day. We're getting there. So, we always do giveaways, other fun things. You get the newest scope on what's coming next week. So stay tuned with that. So other than that, let's get into our final thoughts and our review. So like we always say, we have 5 categories that we review in. We go gameplay, aesthetics, functionality, replayability, and value. And we rate them 1 to 20, with the total adding up to be the final score. So for this game, theoretically, could be as low as a 5 or as high as 100. What do you think? So I'll start with gameplay. I'm going to give them a 15 out of 20. Man, it's fun. It's addicting. It's a hard workout. The matchmaking issues, the inability to find a match a little bit at your level is the only reason that I'm knocking them 5 points down from a perfect score. But the game's freaking addicting. I found myself, it's one of those let's do one more games, because it's not like games take 25-30 minutes at all. It's fun, it's thrilling. You have a back and forth close match, your heart's gonna race. You get that adrenaline. It's a fun sport, and I could see a lot of potential in the future of leagues, pretty much a whole esport with this, that's not available yet, but it definitely has the potential. So gameplay, I'm going to give them 15. Aesthetics, I'm going to give them 15 as well. It's obviously not the best graphics I've seen or anything that's, knock your socks off. So that's the reason I'm going 15 instead of 20, but I love the silly atmosphere of it. Like the character models, these jello figures. Man, I say it every week. I love silliness in VR. So even though I'm only giving them a 15 out of 20, they're not getting a perfect score. I do love the vibe of the place. If which they say is coming soon, but right now there's not. But if there was more environments and stuff like that, and more detail in the the play area and more character models, and things were a little bit more detailed, I could go 20 out of 15, but nothing to be ashamed of there either. Functionality, game works great. Haven't had one glitch personally myself. Haven't crashed, haven't had frame rate drops. Nothing I can really nail them there, so that's a simple one. I'm going to give them 20 on functionality. Replayability, I'm going to give them 15 out of 20. it's kind of to the same thing as the gameplay. If, you know, it was easier to find people your skill level, you know, maybe a couple another game mode or anything like that, the replayability might go up, or leagues, divisions, you know, back to that point. But right now, just what's available, yeah, I think 15 out of 20 is very fair in value. Man, perfect score there. $9.99 is such a great price for this game. You're gonna get your money's worth. You know, the bots are some of the best bots I've seen in a game. You can really improve with the AI. Man, you know, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck in this. So I'll give them 20 on value for a total score of 85. 15 on gameplay, 15 on aesthetics, 20 functionality, 15 replayability, and 20 value.
It's a damn good score.
Yeah, I think it deserves it, and it's very simple. Not very simple. God, what am I saying? Adding leagues and all that stuff isn't too simple. Environment changes,
Sure.
but it's things that they say are coming soon, so it's all things that should improve. But just for right now, yeah, 85, and I think that's very fair.
Okay, fair enough. $9.99. I mean, that speaks for itself. In some senses, I think sometimes when games are $9.99, it scares people away because they think it has to be cheap. And then, you know, there's other times you might see, you know, $24.99 and you pay it, and it is cheap. But in this game, $9.99, you're getting way more than $9.99's worth of content, which at the end of the day I think is important. And more important is the attention that the developers continue to pay to the game, and the promises that they've pretty much outlined both verbally and written. So, I mean, you can see it yourself. They've got some pretty aggressive things coming for this. Would have been kind of cooler to see that, I guess, part of the relaunch overall, and I think it would have helped their overall score at the end of the day. But gameplay, 15. I was on the cusp, but I agree with what you said. You know, I can't. Sometimes we get it in our own heads, and then you kind of hear someone and how they're dissecting it, and you might find out that you were just leaning heavier in one area of the game. So your 15 was spot on for gameplay. Aesthetics, again, 15. Nothing over the top. Certainly not janky looking graphics at all. I was a little thrown at first by the arena the first time I went into it in actual gameplay, but now I kind of really like it like that. It's something about that stripped down mode, but I am anxious to see more environments come in. I think different arenas would definitely change if the atmosphere of the game changes and you believe it changed, then it's going to be pretty intense. But a 15. Functionality, nothing wrong at all. You're dealing with, you know, skating across the whole arena floor, in the air, angles, shooting arrows, grabbing green dots, hitting the ball. There's a lot of shit going on, and it's all working good. I haven't had any issues. If anything, they might be too forgiving with your ability to hit a ball with the arrow. Sometimes I've hit the ball and I'm like, I don't know if I really would have hit it, you know, but that's certainly not hurting anyone's cause. But a 20, replayability, 15. I mean, we have the same scores. I'll save you. I see you looking at me each one, and it's like, yeah, we actually do have the same freaking scores. It's something about the inability to just quickly find a competitive match, and competitive is the key word because I don't think you're going to get any freebies with this one, with challenging people. But we mainly get to play just you and I and some bots, which I'm grateful for the bots, and maybe that's why they're there, and they recognize that early on, that it's going to take time for this to build. But it's a 15. If they add an easier or more abundant matchmaking process, then that would certainly go up. Value for money, I guess aside from playability, this is probably really now in my head one of the most important ones. Are you getting good bang for your buck? And for $9.99, which is really 10 something after tax, yeah, a million times over. There's growth coming. You mentioned the leagues and the esports and all this shit. Man, I can't hold my own against the rare humans we play. So it's like, I already know, I'm like, man, that sounds so exciting, but I'll never be able to do that. Just no freaking way. I do want to know where they came up with the bot names, though. They've got some interesting bot names. and there's one in particular. We'll have to ask the developers straight out about like how they came out to the names, but it was interesting for us. So overall, an 85. I think it's a good game. It's one that I definitely will continue playing. I think you and I will continue playing it. It's just fun as hell, and it's a good workout, at least for your left side, which is good compensation. And I want to see where it grows. 6 months to a year from now, I hope we're kind of looking at a similar base core of the game, but a lot more to the actual game.
Yeah, and even just right now, like $9.99, dude. The amount of content or the amount of playtime that you can get out of this game, even just against the AI, is amazing. And when you say
I love the AI,
and when you say, "Oh, I'll never be good enough to,"
hell no,
to do. But depending on how they do leagues, imagine if they had gold to platinum league. I'm sorry, bronze to platinum league, and it's like, dude, you suck. You go into bronze league, and everybody in the bronze league sucks. Guess what? You're gonna have competitive matches.
And it'll be like everything else. You'll have good players that'll act like they suck. And
oh yeah,
just dominate the.
I think, and look at how much
I know my place on the food chain with this game.
Oh, look how much we've improved in the since we started playing it.
No, I agree.
Like who knows where we'll be in a couple months, but
that's true. But the growth of this is something I'm really banking on. If they follow through with everything they've outlined so far, it's almost like an entirely new game when they're done.
Yeah, I agree with you though. I'm nervous about curved arrows. I gotta say one thing though. Shame on us for not mentioning at any point. We went into the settings a little bit that you can change the difficulty.
Yeah.
But if you go in the settings, there's actually for me it's an important setting. You can put like an aiming spot on your bow.
Yeah, that is actually important. It doesn't default to that either.
No, by default you have no aiming indicator at all. But if you go into your settings and then you find the setting to, I think it's called reticle or something like that, you turn it on and then you get like pretty much a triangle. There's like 3 dots, one on the left, one on top, one on the right. And it gives you at least a good indication of
where to shoot.
Yeah. For me, that was an essential setting to turn on.
No, I totally agree.
So shame on us for not bringing that up till after the final thoughts and everything.
It's all right. Someone will be thinking it long before we just said that. They'll be like, what about the?
Well, you know what? That's the gem for listening this far. Yep. If you're listening this far,
you get that little nugget of gold at the end that is actually kind of really valuable.
Yeah. No, I improved a lot once we.
No, but for what it's worth, we played for a while without that.
We did, but definitely my accuracy went up once I did it.
Yeah, but we were still
doing good.
This is bot bound in the easier settings, but we were still doing all right.
Do you think that we just had incredibly bad luck with just getting beasts?
I think we still have bad luck with just getting beasts. I'll try again. I mean, I'll try tonight, but anytime we go in and we're looking for a match against humans, I'm always like, yep, I can already
about
tell.
To get spanked.
Dude, we got destroyed by little kids. All right. At the end of the day, they didn't say a word till towards the end of the game, and then
they weren't the toxic bunch. Surprisingly,
they were really.
They were really
cool.
Yeah, they were actually not too bad.
At the end of the day,
the kids it's man, being like a 15-year-old.
But once I heard that voice with the spanking we took, we wish there was a mercy rule in this game. We're like even asked is there a mercy rule? Because this is so bad. Yeah, those kids were phenomenal.
And I thought we had improved. Like all right, let's see if we hold our own.
Dude, these kids are gonna grow up with VR.
There was one time you scored on them. Remember when you scored on them? And then they upped it.
Oh, they turned it on
so bad.
I mean, it's pretty obvious we're not great.
Yeah, so I think
a great player, they'll know right off the bat. Like, these guys don't know what they're doing.
But something great about this game with the team is when you're doing like team things, like 2 versus 2 or 3 versus 3, to really excel. It's so teamwork based.
Yeah, I mean, if you play this, that's right. I think hockey players, man, if you get 2 or 3 real hockey players to play this game, they'll just use the same strategies they use for hockey all day long, every day, and I think they'll. Yeah, that's kind of how we'll pick it off.
You kept like running it off on the side, particularly the left side kept being like our dominant side. So like we would kind of run it along the wall on the left. You would get really good at sniping it across, and then as it's rolling across, I would either shoot with my arrow or just spear it in,
pop it right in the goal.
And that strategy was working, really efficient. And just keeping the pressure on the goal, even if you're not making it in right on that shot, just don't let it leave. Just keep the pressure on.
I wish that the bots had fatigue. Out of fairness to humans, because they don't get tired.
No, I'm glad they don't have fatigue.
And they can actually get more energy.
On fire is ridiculous because even the humans that we played, they just hit like accurate power shots, but they don't fire as many arrows. Like when that ball goes in the air and we're playing the on fire bot,
it stays there the whole length of the arena.
Poop, 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 poop. We just see the arrow, 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 like nonstop. It's like, holy moly.
That's when I try to like either try to throw a block up to the ceiling or and I'm a little always behind the 8-ball in this one, but like maybe I should run to the goal real quick because we do play very aggressively offense.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot better defense. When we first started playing, we were pretty instantly good offensively.
Yeah,
but that was our big hole.
You could tap that ball in from across the thing.
100%. It took us a couple days of playing before we caught up defensively. Now it's like, again, we can at least make things frustrating.
This is one of these games where if you watch someone play it, it's pretty comical. It's entertaining.
Yeah, Guardian Warning, dude. I'm doing twirls. I'm spinning.
Oh, yeah. No, Guardian Warning is like for real.
Yeah.
Totally think that.
And like, I know I don't
Ask
need
my
to.
ceiling fan.
I know
Every night you'll hear it. Ka-ching.
They give you all of the option that you don't need. Like, there's no reason to take a step in real life. You can turn in the game with the analog stick. You move by not stepping. Like, why am I walking? Because it's just so intense.
Yeah, my legs will hurt.
Yeah, dude,
my legs hurt and my shoulder will hurt.
When we go into overtime is my favorite because it's like just so.
You get that rush too.
Oh my god,
little adrenaline boost.
Yeah, so I can imagine like a league play. Like imagine a playoff game of this.
Be very competitive.
Yeah, and playoff would be interesting. It's like, do you do one game or do you do like how the
best of?
Exactly.
Yeah, you'd have to do a best of
because they're so short games too. You know.
Yeah, we play best of 3.
So much potential here. So for $9.99, man, I saw on the roadmap that they want to add a spectator feature.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh man, there's so much good stuff coming. So
that's what I'm saying. It's like they obviously have a shit ton of things planned. It just would have been cooler on the selfish end to have seen maybe a bigger launch with some of those features already there. But
yeah.
I think the push was to get it out into the hands.
Well,
let people play it.
1,200 reviews in a month. It sounds like it got some good attention.
Yeah. Oh no, that was the push when it was released was real. You would have thought a AAA studio was coming. I mean, everything for that
People
whole week
it,
was knock this, knock that. I couldn't go on social media without seeing it, and I'm like,
I know.
Again, I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm all set, and then just caved.
We eventually caved. We were late to the party. I know. But
yeah,
it's just not our normal cup of tea. I agree. I'm not usually
sometimes visually when I look at something and I'm like, I just don't think I'm going to enjoy it. So if I have other things that I'm in line to play anyways, it's like, well, I can play that and I'm not out anything. So
that's why, like I always say, your preconceived notions of what you like in flat screen gaming does not matter in VR. It's totally different animal. So it's always
everything's better in VR.
Yeah, I love going into these. You know, the things that we are most skeptical about, we usually end up loving. It's like, look at our scores.
Yeah, no, I think 285 is decent
for a $9.99 game that's been out a month with a lot more to come. I think
with the changes coming, it becomes a 90 to 95. This time next year, but we can talk about that this time next year.
Yeah, I'd love to have these guys on to talk to some of the guys from Normal. I have a feeling it's not one of those 50-man studios. I have a feeling this is probably a small army right here pumping out high quality stuff. So I'd love to sit down and talk with them too.
Yeah, I'd just like to know what they've already said they're going to do. So I'd like to know what it is they're going to do they haven't said they're going to do yet.
And again, some of those developer responses, particularly one on the 1-star review.
Yeah, got to check those out.
Definitely worth some laughs.
Yeah. So good job to them.
If you, like I said before, if you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, maybe even, become a podcast supporter over at our Buy Me a Coffee link, which again, you can find in our show notes. And other than that, stay tuned for next week.
Have a good week.